Hi everyone, it's John from CalDRE Real Estate, and welcome to today's edition of Cozy, Charming, Crazy Real Estate, where we talk about everything real estate: buying, selling, property management, investing, design, and furnishing, also construction and remodeling, anything real estate. Today we're going to talk about buying real estate that is held by an estate in probate. Now, this is a very popular subject on our real estate blog, on our homepage. It's also a subject near and dear to me personally. I've personally sold over $30 million worth of real estate held by estates in probate, so I've been on the inside receiving those offers. What we're going to talk about today is how to make an offer and give it the best chance of getting a serious review by the estate, and perhaps maybe even getting that offer accepted. Before we get started, a quick notice and disclaimer: this is not a legal presentation, does not contain legal advice, and we're not even going to talk about specific probate laws, procedures, and requirements. All that we're going to talk about is what a buyer or buyer's agent or broker needs to know if you're going to be making an offer on real estate being sold by an estate in probate. So we're only looking at the buyer's side, and from a purely real estate purchasing perspective, not from any legal perspective of how an estate is administered. So what is a probate, though? Because as buyers, we do need to know that. Well, in the probate process, there's three basic things that are going to happen that are of interest to us. The first is that the will is validated by the court, and the second is that an executor, or it could have different titles, a person is placed in charge to actually manage and bring the estate through probate by doing any number of things that are required, either by the will or by law, probably both. And the last thing is settling an estate will take place during probate when there's no will, and typically if there is no will, there are laws in every state that say, well, if there's no will, here's how the estate will be settled. Or if the will is challenged. Now, as buyers, we need to know, is the will valid? Has someone been put in charge? Is the estate being challenged, the will being challenged, such that the estate might not have current authority to conduct the sale of real estate? We want to make sure that that is taking place. We want to make sure that someone is in charge, someone has the authority to sell. Well, here's some misconceptions, the three biggest ones. I could go on all day, but we're going to just talk about the top three misconceptions that buyers seem to have. As someone like myself who has sold large parcels of land, little pieces of land, apartment buildings, condos, homes, all types of probate properties or properties held by estate and probates. We get a lot of different kind of buyers, investors, people looking for a home to buy, but they all have one common trait or misconception, and that is that they think that a probate property is going to sell cheap. Probate properties are normally going to have to be sold at market value or higher as ordered by the court, unless there is some unique problem or process that has to be followed. It could be that the estate needs to pay some bills, and the guy who left the real estate behind didn't leave behind any money, so they need to liquidate fast. There can be all sorts of reasons, but in general, probate properties need to be sold at market value or higher as a function of the probate process. Another misconception is that properties are in bad condition. Yes, there are a lot of them that are in bad condition. It's not unusual to find a cabin for sale in the woods that used to be the summer hangout of the deceased. He's not been in good health the last 20 years, so he hasn't been there. Nobody's been going up to the cabin, and it's been allowed to decay. You may find that. You may find even a house in the city where someone lived who was getting on in years and didn't maintain it well. Those things all do happen, but in general, not all probate properties are in bad condition. Another misconception, and this is a big one, is that when someone passes away, you want to get your offer in very quick because you want to get it before it hits the market. Another typical requirement of the executor is that they sell it on the open market, and by open market that is interpreted to be that it must be placed on the multiple listing service, whether it's the multiple listing service that is most commonly used in the area to sell residential property, or if it's a commercial property, they'll want to see, the court will want to see it listed on something like LoopNet or equivalent that sells commercial properties. They will want to see that it has been marketed through the most common means of distribution of listings in that area. So most of the time it's not going to be sold off market. So those are the big three misconceptions: cheap property in bad condition sold off market. Those are what you'll see a lot of seminars telling you how to buy with those three conditions. I'm just saying that in general, it's been my experience that no, none of those are usually true in the most part. There are exceptions, but for the most part, they're going to have to sell at market value. They'll be in reasonable condition, and they're going to be listed. So what are the three biggest mistakes that buyers often make? Well, the first one, and this is one that I have had personal experience with in a negative way, and I'm going to tell you, if you're a buyer and you contact a grieving family, you have just painted yourself into a corner. You've made yourself look insensitive, and any offer that you put in, unless it is twice the market value, is probably not going to get a lot of consideration. It is a strike against you. Grieving families do not want to be contacted, especially when probate has just been opened and the executor has not had time to sort out all the tasks that need to take place, not hired. Normally they'll have an attorney first thing, but they may not have hired the broker who's going to represent the property and put it on the market. All those types of things. They're still in the grieving process. My recommendation is leave them alone. I've been handed a lot of notes from grieving families that say, oh, this guy has left several messages on my phone answering machine. Here's his name, here's his number. Please call him and tell him to leave us alone, or just you handle it, and which I would do. However, it creates a bad taste in their mouth towards you, so please wait and find out who the point person is for that estate, whether it's the executor or real estate broker or an attorney, and contact them first. Do not contact the family directly. Another mistake is submitting a lowball offer. As previously mentioned, the real estate is probably going to have to be sold at market value or higher. Remember that if there is a problem with the property, there's a wall falling down, problem with the lot, any problem that is found in the property will be reflected in the value that the executor and the court has established for that property. So they're not putting it on the property on the market without doing their due diligence onto what a fair market value would be. If you put a lowball offer in, it's very likely that they're just going to put it in the bottom of the stack and probably ignore it. Do not expect a quick sale on a piece of property held by an estate in probate. Now, I'm going to divide this up because I know across the country there's different terms for what a sale is. When I say quick sales, what I mean is a quick acceptance of an offer. Now, you may be able to close escrow after the sale or after the offer has been accepted very quickly. Your offer might say, I'm going to give you all cash, $1 billion for your little house there, and I can close escrow in 10 days. That's not what I'm talking about. Those would be great terms for any seller. What I'm talking about is how long it takes to get an offer reviewed and accepted. Now, it's very important to understand that a lot of estates in probate have beneficiaries, or people who are going to receive the assets of the estate when they are distributed. Those people can be living all locally. They might be distributed across the United States. One of them might be working in Europe for 6 months or on vacation. You never know how long it's going to take for everyone who is going to look at that offer to actually review it. Now, it could be that the executor has sole authority to make all the decisions. One person, that would be great. However, it's more common that either the judge who is in charge of the estate or is handling the probate might have to review it. It could be that the beneficiaries need to review it. It could be the attorney and the executor needs to review it. We don't know. So one of the things that we're going to talk about in a second is how to make sure we understand the processes, but do not expect to put in an offer that says my offer is valid for 24 hours, take it or leave it, and expect it to get even looked at. You want to find out what the needs of the seller are as far as turnaround times on a review before you submit it. Don't go in there and just say I need an answer in 24 hours, because it's probably with an estate property not going to happen. So those are the three biggest problems. Don't contact the grieving families. Lowball offers are going to be ignored. Don't expect a quick response on your offer, and you'll be way ahead of most buyers. Some helpful tips to get your offer looked at and maybe get it accepted. First is understand the process. As I mentioned previously, you want to talk to the point person. Hopefully it is a real estate broker that speaks your language and can insulate you from everything else happening in probate and just tell you what you need to know to submit an offer. Who should it be made out to? What does the estate want to see in an offer? Is price more important? Is the dollar value more important? Is that you're not going to require them, you're going to accept the property as is and not require a lot of repairs. Ask the point person what they would like to see in an offer, just as you would in making any offer. And then understand the process for how the offer will be reviewed and accepted. And then once the offer is accepted, what will be the process for actually closing escrow? It may or may not be normal escrow procedures as you would have with a non-estate property, but understand that process. Next thing you want to do is mention a big mistake is thinking that all properties and estates and probate are not in good condition. Inspect the property, find out its condition. It might be really good, might be really bad, but know the property. And then expect to pay at least market value. If you're going to go in with a lowball offer, you're probably wasting your time. Expect a competitive environment. If it is a property that would experience a lot of demand under normal circumstances, expect that when it hits the market, it will be under a lot of demand, under even being put on the market by an estate in probate. So be prepared to be competitive as a buyer, just as you would for any property. So understand the process. Make sure you know how to buy. It's going to be different for in every state, in every different estate, and every different courtroom. It can be different. Talk to the point person. Make sure you know the property. Give it a good inspection, good valuation, and then expect to pay at least market value or more if it's a property that's going to be in high demand. In summary, know the property, know the customer, and know the process. Those are the keys to submitting an offer on probate property that will get that offer looked at and hopefully get you a positive response. So that's it for this edition of Cozy, Charming, Crazy Real Estate. Hope to see you again on our next edition. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit like. If you have a comment, please, or a question, please enter it in the comments below. And if you would like to see our next video, please remember to subscribe. And we will see you again soon on Cozy, Charming, Crazy Real Estate. Take care.